Oh. Hi, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube. Happy Friday.
Friday. Always going strong. And I've noticed that YouTube's a little bit different than the Facebook Live. I like the YouTube structure better, actually.
I always watch it on Facebook,
Facebook?
so I haven't seen the YouTube.
We're going to go live on Facebook in just a moment. And we're going. The connection. Happy Friday, Facebook and YouTube, and welcome to Disclosure Live with Brandy Austin Law. I'm Heather Jameson, and today I have with me
Maria Torres.
Today it is September 7th. On today's episode, we're going to discuss Estate Planning 101. But first, we always like to kind of cover a few things within the local news. So today is actually National Food Bank Day. The first Friday in September is usually recognized annually across the country as National Food Bank Day to bring awareness to the struggle that many families have when it comes to providing food for their household. So usually the best way to fight hunger, I know I personally go ahead and donate items, but you can also go to the local food bank and volunteer. There's several different things that you're able to kind of do to help, go and fight the hunger. I guess you can say I'm a firm believer that no one should go to bed hungry. So that's something today.
Okay, and on Sunday, National Assisted Living Week. On Sunday, National Assisted Living Week begins. This coming week recognizes assisted living communities that have a way for seniors who want an independent lifestyle who may still need assistance for their independent lifestyle. Who may still need assistance for their. Oh, I was right. I'm sorry. Assistance for their individual need in assisted living communities. It's a priority that residents feel like they're living independently while still having the peace of mind knowing that their specific daily needs are met. If you have a family member who lives at an assisted living facility, be sure to take part in National Assisted Living Week every year.
There you go. Today it's also, this month is also a National Library Card sign up. So basically the entire month of September you're able to kind of go and get your library card. Kids head back to school, so there's no better time for them to discover basically the treasures that wait within the local library. Within the library, kids can always appreciate the learning experience. I know I used to actually go into the local library and read to the smaller kids.
I still have my library
See,
card.
there you go, yes. Books with all technology and stuff like that, it's amazing that there still is that one-on-one, kind of companionship that you get with reading to the young kids and their imaginations get to soar and you get to be a part of that. So that's always fun. So go out and get your library card today if you don't have one.
And University of North Texas partners with Lyft. Heads up students of the University of North Texas. The university is partnering with Denton County Transportation Authority and Lyft to provide students with safe and reliable on-demand transportation after hours. The pilot program will initially serve current UNT students in a designated area specified by the university, also called the UNT Lyft Zone, for the hours between 2 a.m. and 7 a.m. each day, and the program will run from August 17th through December 15th. So keep that in mind when you're out late.
And something that I do also want to kind of warn everybody that knows that I kind of work in the elder department, as I kind of call it. So it's within the probate estates, guardianship. So I deal with elderly, but I have noticed that there's actually an epidemic that's going. Usually, it has started a little bit earlier. Usually, I notice that. Usually November, December into January is when I've noticed it, but there are checks that are being delivered to people, and unfortunately it is a scam. So if you're not expecting a check, I always tell everybody not to go cash that check, because basically it's a way that the wiring transfers, they can get into your accounts, and they're not just focusing on elderly. I've also known people that, young people like yourself, and just average day-to-day people are being affected by this. So if you definitely get some sort of check or something like that in the mail wanting your routing or account number, please do not do it. If you do, contact an attorney's office, and that way we can see if we can assist. But so basically what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to today's topic. Today we're going to discuss just kind of some estate planning 101, just some simple things. I know we've been touching bases on trust and probate and guardianship, so we're just going to go ahead and kind of get with some basics. So.
Okay, so we're going to start off with what is a durable power of attorney?
A durable power of attorney, the best way that I like to kind of describe it to clients or people that are looking to kind of see as to what it is, it's a document in which you authorize someone to be able to take care of your financial needs. So with the durable power of attorney, there's several different types and ways that you can actually execute it. The most common basically is where you can kind of go in and do it upon your incapacitation. Dealing with elderly, I always say, unless you 100% trust that person, because this is someone that can get into your bank, your financials, your 401k, your life insurance policies. Like this document is a very powerful document. So you don't just want to give it just to anybody unless you just hand them your bank account and say, steal everything. So again, it's just kind of appointing an agent where in the event, whether it be temporary, business related, personal related, that way you can just have someone to kind of oversee your finances.
Okay. And what is a medical power of attorney?
Medical power of attorney, opposite of financial, it's for medical decisions. So I know most people are usually familiar when they go into the hospital. They always ask if you have a medical power of attorney, a HIPAA, and then a directive to physician. But medical power of attorney, basically, it's just, to get in there and do, be able to make those medical decisions in the event if something was to happen to you, couldn't speak, an accident. And you can do those also temporary, or you can do them for your lifetime as well.
And also are those just for elderly people, or are this just?
No, it is for people as young as yourself. It can be, literally it's anyone. I've been my grandparents since I was 18, just because, having that sound person. And medical power of attorney also, and we'll talk about HIPAA in just a second, but medical, there are different disclosures that you can't do. So I know in my personal situation, I was taking my grandfather to the doctor all the time. And even though they saw my face and I was there, willing in the consults and stuff, it got to the point where basically they wouldn't give me any information even when setting an appointment unless I had that medical power of attorney. So it just kind of depends on how extent that you want somebody involved, but having that, it is an authorization to where not just the doctors, the hospitals, anybody else can give you medical information. So.
Okay. And I noticed that you did mention a HIPAA. Can you please explain what a HIPAA is?
With the HIPAA, basically it is just a healthcare release, medical power of attorney, and a lot of people think that it's because they have that medical power of attorney that they have authorization to obtain medical records. That's not the case, and some facilities do allow it. However, HIPAA is completely separate because there's different types of medical records that you can kind of obtain, and you deal with personal injury, you kind of know, and so there's different things that you can grant that person the ability to kind of disclose and get those records. But ultimately, I would say medical records aside, but then medical decisions is medical power of attorney. So.
Okay, and then how do I go about automatically donor or gifts?
The gifts. And what that is basically if you wish to be a donor of organs and different things of that nature, there are specifics that you have to do. You can't just say, I can't just say to you, hey, I wish that my eyes be donated to science, and then hope that you basically, when I pass, have that happen. Because there are different things that you do have to do, and there are organizations out there that you can get in contact with. They have their own specific forms. Estate planning is one of the biggest things, because not just with your will, but again, having these forms, you're going to have them in place in order for your wishes to be followed through. So there's definitely different things, and if you're interested in it, I always definitely contact us for estate planning, but seek the advice of an attorney, because basically it's your body, and then once you pass away, there's family, there's different things that can come into play with that.
So what about cremation and burial requests?
Within there, the biggest thing, it only takes one person to contest the fact that you no longer want to that you don't actually want to be, cremated. So what you can do, cremation, unlike anatomical gifts, they have forms and they have places that kind of present what your wishes are. When it comes to cremation, there's not anything that's kind of set right there. So the number one thing when you basically draft your will, when it has in there, because religious beliefs, you can put burial request, but it's mandated that if you wish to be cremated, it has to be listed within your will. That way it shows what your intent was, when executing a will by an attorney, and kind of by the statutory standards, you have to have a notary and 2 witnesses. So if it ever comes to be that, a family member says, no, that's not what their wishes were, you have this document that was witnessed, notarized, that says, yes, this is what I wish to do. Same thing as far as with burial. Burial requests aren't as, I guess, strict, when it comes to that, because some people do plan ahead of time, and which burial and their service are 2 separate things, because some people wish to actually have, whether it be a Christian service or no service, but then their burial, they have their plots already picked out and different things of that nature. So it's part of the estate planning process, and it's something I know nobody really wants to discuss it, but it is something that it's a lot better just to kind of get it out there, and then that way plan accordingly. So.
Yeah, and then I also noticed that you mentioned a little bit about the religious beliefs. Can you share more information on that?
And that's the whole thing. Ye Sho, which she's an attorney here, she and I always kind of, is she Hindi? What type of?
I think so. Yes.
Indian? Because with her religious beliefs, they believe that that they want to be cremated. So that's one of the biggest things that if she does wish to be cremated, it does have to be listed. Of course, with your family growing up, they if it's your religious belief, they're going to do what you want them to do. However, legally, it just takes that one person again to say no, and then by law they can't do anything. So whether it's religious based or just personal beliefs, definitely do something within your estate planning. So.
And what is a DNR?
That's my favorite. DNR, it has several different titles, I guess you can say. DNR is basically do not resuscitate. I get a lot of calls because, of course, we deal with trust. So I get calls saying, well, I want a living trust. And then once I start kind of explaining things, they're like, well, no, I don't want that. I want the thing where I don't want to be on life support. So basically what the directive to physician is it's your specific directions as to whether or not you want to be on life support. And there's, we personally, Ms. Austin, drafts where there's 2 separate ones, one's, kind of different types of incapacitation, but you can also go more in depth with the DNR, as far as, tubal feeding, artificial, there's so many different things that you can actually kind of get in there and do. But one of the other biggest things that I get a lot of questions about is if they've executed a medical power of attorney, they think, well, this person knows what I want. What if I do this DNR? And a lot of people honestly don't do a DNR just because of religious beliefs. They do feel that if they take that control, then, I don't know, I can't say the words that happen. But basically the way, if you have a DNR in place and you've executed that DNR, your medical power of attorney agent has to abide by your decision. So that's always something too, because it's kind of a 50-50 within estate planning. Again, there's some people that don't want to execute it, but then I have some that want to because they don't want their children to have to make that decision. So that's the whole thing. Even if you put, say that your parents put you down as your medical power of attorney and they decide that they don't want to be on life support, you have to follow their decision. So you're not the one that's ultimately making that decision and having the rest of your siblings mad at you. So,
which is helpful.
Yes,
it's helpful in that end. So tell me more about a declaration of guardian. What is it, and what types are there estate planning wise?
The most 2 common, especially kind of with what we do, of course, declaration of guardian with elderly. It's more so in the event as far as incapacitation. While you're still of sound mind, you're able to declare to the courts as to who you would want to take care of you. Usually, and we've touched the basis on a little bit, if you have a trust that's in place, usually we'll never have to worry about having to apply for guardianship over somebody, because there's 2 types. But basically what that declaration of guardian is it gets in there and lets you know, hey, I want this person to handle my finances, this person's going to handle my medical decisions. But there is another section too for minor children, because you can declare a guardian over your children. And Mr. Mike, Larry, and I, he's the family law attorney, we have kind of talked about the 2. Of course, fathers have more additional rights if, say, the mom was going to pass. And it is a little bit different, which which, you know, Larry and I will probably get in and kind of do a little bit more discussion about that. But those are usually the two types, as far as either, you know, upon your incapacitation when you're older, or as far as declaring who you would want to take care of your kids, God forbid if something was to happen and the two of y'all in a car. So those are usually the two that kind of come into play with it. Yeah, interesting.
Very interesting, a lot of information, a lot.
It is a lot, and you know, and we do always say, I know our firm specifically, basically, Ms. Austin, we do offer free consultations, 30-minute consultations. So if you ever have any questions or anything, definitely feel free to give us a call. We wish you a very happy Friday today. And basically, that's all our show for today, September 7th, 2018. We're so glad that you joined us on Disclosure Live with Brandy Austin Law. Please enjoy your weekend. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave any comments, ask any questions. We'll definitely see you here next week. I'm Heather Jameson, and I'm with
Maria Torres.
Happy
Happy
Friday.
Friday.
Thanks
Thank
for
you for
watching.
watching.